YouTube, what the crap's going on? HeirofCarthage here. Got some replays for you coming in from viewers. This one is going to be Acadian here. Acadian? Probably Acadian. He's going to have an interesting army here from Empire, which is mostly just cheap state troops. A couple of Knights of the Blazing Sun, a Demigryph Knight, and then some missile cavalry. Let's see how that plays out. He's going to be up against Chaos, and Chaos is an interesting one to make that pick because a lot of times Chaos will bring Warhounds and other fast movers against the Empire, and I'm a little bit surprised. There are some, but not as much as you could end up with. We got some warriors with great weapons mixed in with marauders with great weapons, so they were expecting maybe some great swords, but great swords are not. This Chaos Infantry, including the Forsaken there, which there's two of them mixed in, are going to be quite good. Fire Sorcerer and Sigvald the Magnificent. He took some buffs in the recent patch. I need to go look up exactly what he was buffed, but I don't know if it was just him buffing his mirror shield. Huh? Get it? Ah, the lame jokes. Pistoliers also, I think, got a buff in the last patch. I would have to go back and look to recall exactly what it was. Do Pistoliers still suck? Check out Karl Franz on Deathclaw. Heck yeah. Now, Karl did get a buff on Deathclaw. I think he has additional damage that he does. So the Warhound's leaving early. That's good for the Empire. He's using Karl Franz and the Griffites to interestingly support this this Outrider fight here. And then his Knights of the Blazing Sun, along with the Celestial Wizard, who I'm assuming would be used for a debuff, probably? Curse the Midnight Wind and Wind Blast, yeah. Interesting combinations, I like it. I like that he's definitely got a plan in mind here. These Pistoliers are actually going to be great for dealing with Marauder Horsemen. Maybe not the Warhounds. Outriders are going to be really good at causing some damage to the Chaos Infantry. The Warriors with great weapons would be the best pick because they don't have a shield. Really nice skirmishing by the Empire. And Chaos really can't touch this flank, and it's going to force them to bring their infantry over here to attack. And that's going to let the Empire take their time and really use their units here. The Warhounds can outrun the Griffites. Might not hurt for the Outriders to just turn around and pin the Warhounds so the Griffites can... Yep, never mind. No need. Some dead doggies. And somehow Karl managed to catch these Marauder Horsemen, so nice catch there. Oh, look at this Knights of the Blazing Sun. I think there was a Wind Blast used there. It didn't end up doing a ton. Knights of the Blazing Sun did some decent damage here. They're going to pull back. Another Knights of the Blazing Sun. Look at this. Just cycle one out, cycle the other in. Chaos Warriors are going to get pummeled. The Knights of the Blazing Sun have an absolutely brutal charge. What's this spell coming in here? So just falling back with the infantry, that makes sense. They don't want to take that fight yet. The Knights of the Blazing Sun should be able to pincer their Forsaken and kill it. If they have the right positioning. There's, let's see, here's one Knight. The other one's not in that same, oh my gosh though, look, it's gonna, this Forsaken. They just got Forsaken. They're lucky they started moving and maybe made that charge a little bit more awkward there because, ooh, yeah, they could have gotten hurt a lot worse there. That actually turned out a lot better for them than I thought it would have. And then, yeah, look, these Forsaken get pincered between Karl, Celestial Wizard, and the Blazing Sun. So they get wrecked. Look at this, these tactics here, though. I love it. The Chaos player just doesn't know what to do with himself. This, yeah, micro mistake for sure by the Empire here, but everything else he's doing is going really well so far. These Pistoliers keeping the Marauder Horses busy, giving the Outriders time to do their work on some of the key infantry. Really, the only big mistake there, ooh, a Flaming Head. That's an interesting cast. I mean, it does do some damage. But, I mean, the Flaming Head could have been cast to try and come down the line this way. Because you see how it mostly moves in a straight line. If it would have been done like that, it would have been potentially a lot more effective. So decent thought by Chaos, but not executed properly. Sorry, I still have to get a drink every now and then because I'm getting over this this cough. That Chaos Sorcerer is screwed. Karl got distracted by the infantry. Ooh, Karl's getting in over his head here too. A lot of infantry there. Yeah, Karl ended up getting beaten up pretty badly there. Okay, the Empire infantry is going to come engage now. Look at the blob that Chaos is in here too, and there's Wind Blast potentially that'll come in from the Celestial Wizard. He's in a good position to Wind Blast this too. An Overcast Wind Blast would cause tremendous damage to this right now. I would love to see it happen. Fire Sorcerer routes. Where's the spell coming in back here? I see it again here. Oh, please Wind Blast it. He's got 89 kills. He must have gotten a good Wind Blast already. Or maybe it happened when I wasn't paying attention right there, because all of a sudden these guys are looking pretty damaged. He's got 89 kills. This Wind Blast tends to happen pretty quickly. He's using the Power Stone right now. Look at this. This guy's just completely blobbed up. Curse of the Midnight Wind, mate? No? No, it was just... Oh, okay. That was just Franz coming in and scaring these guys. Blood Roar, I think. Look at this. Really, really nice tactics from the Empire player here. Very unique army. Chaos army, I get it. He came infantry heavy. He had a lot of armor piercing, a lot of tough stuff that a more typical Empire army might struggle with, but I think he still has some weaknesses in his army in the sense that I mean, he had the Marauder Horsemen to potentially help deal with the Flyer, but I still don't think it was enough. I don't think he had a good way to deal with the Flyer. It's going to leave him vulnerable, and he didn't really have a great way to deal with enemy skirmishers either, potentially, from the Empire, so I would think that he might want to shore that up a little with his build choice, other than just going... I mean, well, he kind of did, because he had Forsaken. Forsaken can get to enemy skirmishers. That counts. Yeah, I mean, he had decent ability to get to enemy skirmishers. I would say the bigger fault here is, I mean, how are you going to deal with something like Karl Franz or Boris on a Griffin? And the answer is you're not. I mean, the Marauder Horsemen could technically do some damage if they can get close, but that's the thing, is they have to get close. So, fun match. Liked it. Very unique there from Acadian. Thank you. I've got another one we're going to go take a look at, and I've been getting a lot of replays from Reptile King here, so let's throw one of his in. He said this army, he brought it because he figured that the enemy might be expecting a heavy dinosaur build from the Lizards, so he brought something that wasn't going to be dino, and he's like, yeah, it's a bit spammy, but just trying to do something a little different here. So the Tomb Kings, a lot of weak infantry, backed up by some pretty serious constructs. Then we got Khalida, and we're going to have a Lore of Nehakara Lich Priest. Yep. Lore of Nehakara. Let's check the spells. We're going to have Restless Dead, which whenever he's casting gives some healing. Neru's Incantation of Protection, which is physical resistance for a key unit. Incantation of Vengeance, which is going to be a direct damage spell. Desiccation. I mean, there's quite a few spells here. So lots of options for the Tomb Kings. The Chameleon Skinks deployed behind the Tomb Kings, and the Chameleon Skinks should be an interesting one. They are actually going to be a pretty irritating unit for the Tomb Kings to deal with here. Skeleton Archers would really be the best answer to the Chameleon Skinks, but Skeleton Archers are kind of overpriced for what they do typically in multiplayer, and I can see why a Tomb King player wouldn't typically have them. Skeleton Horsemen would get killed by Chameleon Skinks, as would most other units. Look, he's hidden his army back here. Getting a bit extreme on it, but let's see what he does. Fast forward. So the Tomb King's moving forward, probably expecting the enemy armies back there. Let's go look at the mounts and stuff for the lords. Everybody's on foot. Skink Priest, Sarasol Blood, and a Skink Chief on foot over here. So yeah, no dinosaurs. Unless you count the Lizardmen themselves as dinosaurs, which they kind of are. Just kind of keeping a respectful distance with the Chameleon Skinks for now. Probably makes sense. think he wants the Tomb King to get committed to this fight before he really... Nope, he's going to go ahead and start skirmishing. It's going to work just fine against the Skeleton Warriors. And actually, this isn't a bad idea. If you trigger the Realm of Souls early, it actually screws the Tomb Kings because they're not fighting yet. So if he kills enough of these guys and triggers one of the healing, it's actually going to be pretty worthwhile. Shabti with Great Bow are going to go ahead and do some skirmishing. Skink Priest has moved out that way. Not sure what he has in mind. Chameleon Skink still moving into position. Let's kind of see a little bit of skirmishing here. There's a couple of Ushabti with Great Bow. And now they're shooting at Chameleon Skinks, which that's a waste. I think it's a waste at least. You don't have enough ammo for that. You would want to be taking on more important targets. Don't get me wrong, the Chameleon Skinks are important, but more important. Yeah, look how quickly these Skeleton Horsemen are going to get wrecked. These guys are not suited to taking down Chameleon Skinks. Pretty much no cavalry trades real well against Chameleon Skinks unless you can approach it from two angles. If you do it with one cavalry or two cavalry from the same angle, they're going to get poisoned. When I say you have to come from two angles, one has to be chasing and the other has to pincer. In that case, you will absolutely wreck the Chameleon Skinks, but you won't get a good enough charge chasing them, and these guys end up doing pretty decent in melee because they also have poison melee attack. So you really have to be very careful who you want to chase Chameleon Skinks with. Even this Ushabti here, I'm not sure that that's a good choice. They do have a bonus versus infantry, which should help though. Yeah, he's skirmishing with Khalida. I would have expected the Chameleon Skinks to make the Ushabti pay a little bit more dear of a price there. Kimrian War Sphinx, now that'll take care of Chameleon Skinks, no question. War Sphinx will do the trick. This Lich Priest just took a nasty shot off of that Skink Chief. The Chosen of the Gods is raining down some arrows here, and they are causing some pretty significant damage to this Saurus Warrior, but again, the healing triggers here actually before some of the fight begins, the Realm of Souls. And Saurus Warriors are going to kill skeletons for days. It's not even going to be close. Tomb Guard could hold back Saurus Warriors. I don't know if it's effective, but they could do it. Look at this, and Ushabti chasing Chameleon Skink, so definitely not ideal here. All these Ushabti need to be in the fight back here. So the second tier Realm of Souls hits. And the Lizardmen having no trouble punching through at the moment. Saurus Old Blood is kind of here in the middle. And the Kimrian War Sphinx is definitely a problem. But there are enough Saurus Spears that I don't think it's going to really do great. And then also you're going to have potential poisoning coming in that can negate a lot of its capability. Look, Khalida, the Queen of Poison here, being poisoned. You would think if you're a unit that imparts poison, you might actually be immune to poison. That would be an interesting capability. What do you all think? Would that be OP? Yeah, so the Lizardmen are going to punch through the Tomb Kings here. The Tomb Kings, not really an anti-large army for sure from the Tomb Kings. I mean, the Kimrian War Sphinx is anti-infantry all the way, and so are Ushabti, so really it's kind of an anti-infantry build for a faction that typically brings large units. So in some ways, the army that the Lizardmen brought here could potentially have been what these Tomb Kings would want to fight. It's really just the Chameleon Skinks that you don't have the answer to. But the Tomb King didn't just do a focused charge. Like, so for instance, if you charged in with the skeletons, supported them with the Ushabti, and swing in from behind with the Kimrian War Sphinx, you might be able to take out the Lizardmen line. The problem's going to be is you don't have anything as the Tomb Kings to quickly deal with the Lizardmen leadership. That was a cool looking spell. And so I'm not sure whether or not you would have been able to successfully, like, leadership route all the Lizardmen here. The Lich Priest is taking a beating from the Saurus Old Blood. War Sphinx is going to get a decent number of kills, but you can see it's not going to be enough. Tanky unit, but Not enough. And again, Ushabti getting distracted by chameleon skinks. I mean, you can't win the infantry fight with skeletons against Saurus warriors. So, I mean, the Tomb King player should have just done his best. I don't know, it's not easy, but he's going to almost kind of have to ignore the chameleon skinks and deal with the bigger threat that he's better equipped to deal with first, which is going to be the infantry because of the combination skeletons and Ushabti. I feel like he should have tried to deal with it first. Because the Lizardmen are pretty clearly running away with this at this point. The War Sphinx won't have enough to deal with all of the Lizardmen units that are going to be left, and the Saurus Oldblood barely touched here. I would have thought that Khalida could have been somewhat useful against, well, the Oldblood's just about as good. It's just that she's poison. Let's watch this final effort here by the Tomb Kings to try and dig their way out of this one. But I don't think it's going to happen. We got more Saurus warriors returning. War Sphinx is looking like it's crumbling. It is. And there's still plenty of chameleon skinks left, and these Ushabti that really needed to be in this fight the whole time are only just now getting back. Khalida, though, pretty tanky here, and something has managed to put a pretty big beating on the Saurus Oldblood. I would think it has to be her. But look what happens when she poisons him there, too. It takes a lot of damage. War Sphinx is about to drop. It's crumbling pretty quickly. And as it goes, so goes the hopes of the Tomb Kings, who did actually put a pretty stout beating on that Oldblood there. But Khalida's about to drop just the same. War Sphinx is down. It's going to collapse. Ends up being a relatively, I say a relatively close fight, but not really, because there's quite a few key units left for the Lizardmen here. So fun fight. Appreciate Reptile King sending that in. He's a great viewer. He's always making comments, always being involved. So I definitely notice it, man. And thanks for sending in replays. Love the faction. You know, you pick a faction and you like it there. I'm kind of the same way. I do that type of thing. HeirofCarthage, huh? Right? Anyway, thanks, man. So appreciated the replay. It was a fun one. Fun to see a Lizardman army with no dinosaurs. Good game by his opponent. HeirofCarthage signing out for now. Appreciate you being here. If you enjoyed it, make sure to subscribe. There'll be more. And appreciate MSI sponsor. I may have just said that. If I didn't, anyway, appreciate MSI sponsoring. I'll see you next time.